welcome back. Just another morning commute. Beautiful morning though. It's supposed to get cloudy later. I hope it doesn't rain. It's supposed to rain all weekend, which is okay because I am going to be in my garage all weekend because of some cool and exciting news. So I have recently been on YouTube. Well, I'm on YouTube like every night, but just watching the shorts, and I came across these brothers out of the UK, and they build badass Triumphs, custom Triumph bobbers and Bonnevilles and all this jazz. It made me start thinking of the current affairs, if you will, of Harley Davidson and the motorcycle industry in general. And Harley Davidson's in big trouble. And you know, they've been limping along since the Sons of Anarchy craze, where everyone and their mom wanted a blacked out Dyna, which is hilarious because my mom actually owns and rides a blacked out Dyna, so that's kind of funny. But come on, Mr. Postman. Me and Uncle Rob have discussed it many a times, like Harley Davidson alternatives. Like, let's say tomorrow Harley Davidson just completely goes tits up, and you could no longer purchase Harley Davidson parts or couldn't get your motor work done by a certified Harley tech. Things like that, that would make owning a Harley Davidson kind of counterintuitive. I mean, there are lots of people who own Harleys that Harley doesn't work on anymore. Anyways, maybe that's part of the reason. And you know, that very well could be a part of the reason why Harley Davidson's struggling so bad. They will sell you a twin cam and then turns around and needs motor work, and they don't work on it. I understand the industry. It's kind of hard to have talented technicians who are certified to work on every motor Harley's ever made. I mean, I kind of get that, but I mean, come on, it's a twin cam. It's not that hard. I work on my own shit, but if I needed something super complicated done, I would like to be able to know that I could take this bike in to the people who manufactured it and have them repair it. Well, they don't do that. So, you know, makes you wonder. But anyways, what I was originally talking about, sorry, it's early, it's the morning. My mind kind of wanders as it is. Much worse when I first wake up. So Rob and I were talking about like Harley Davidson alternatives. If you weren't on a Harley, or if you had a Harley and if you wanted a second bike or whatever, let's say you wake up and there's no such thing as Harley. Harleys are gone. You can't get them, can't ride them. What would you ride if not a Harley Davidson? And for some people, the obvious answer would be Indian motorcycles. Now, Indian makes some good shit. Their cruisers outperform Harley Davidson at every turn. More horsepower, more torque, more nimble. My problem with the Indian motorcycle cruiser lineup is that they're just ugly as sin. I was having a conversation yesterday with a couple of guys about it at work, about how Pretty Bird, about how the fairing on the Challenger, to me, I mean, it's about as god-awful ugly as you can get. It looks like they took a Dodge Ram front end, cut it into thirds, and then put it onto a motorcycle frame. I mean, it is just horrible looking. Like a big brick rolling down the road. The Chieftains are okay. They're not as bad as the Challengers. But even then, to me, and again, this is, of course, it's all relative, and it's to each their own, and beauty is in the eye of the beholder and what have you. But to me, Indian motorcycles looks like they're trying to cover up the parts of a motorcycle that people like to look at. People like to see the engine. They like to be able to see through the bike. Like on a Harley Davidson, the mechanical parts of it are a part of the show. People like to see the motor. They like to, you know, be able to see all the different components of the motorcycle and what makes it go. For two reasons. One, it makes it easier to work on it if you can see it. And the second thing is, if you're into motorcycles, you're into working on motorcycles. And if you're into working on motorcycles, you probably enjoy looking at it. You like to see the motor and the drive and all that. But Indian tried their damnedest to make it look like a Hot Wheels motorcycle and cover up everything in plastic, making it damn near impossible to A, work on it, and B, it just looks like it was designed and made by someone who doesn't like motorcycles. Again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Everyone has a different opinion, and that's okay. But to me, they're horrible and ugly in every way. Not horrible. I shouldn't say that. That was mean. They're just ugly, ugly motorcycles. So, Harley Davidson alternatives for a lot of people is going to be another American-made motorcycle. Well, an American-made motorcycle, you only get two options. You know, as far as cruisers go. You have Harley Davidson and Indian. And to me, I would totally own an Indian motorcycle. It just wouldn't be a cruiser. Because to me, Indian motorcycles looks like they just, I mean, obviously it's even a very popular meme of all of their motorcycles are just copy and pasted from Harley Davidson. They just, you know, didn't do as good of a job at it. And it shows. It's a copy. So, at least aesthetically. Again, they do outperform. But if I was going to buy an Indian motorcycle, I would lean towards like the FTR 1200. That bike is awesome. Me and Rob test rode them in South Dakota at Sturgis Motorcycle Rally in 2019. And that was their debut year. And we loved them. We had a lot of fun. In fact, Rob had so much fun on it that people were looking at him funny. He kept trying to wheelie the damn thing, and it was in dealer mode, so he couldn't turn it to sport mode to release traction control and all that other jazz. Dealer mode basically put it in this kid-friendly Fisher Price, everything had padded corners mode, so you couldn't get crazy with it. And anyone who knows Rob knows that if he's on two wheels, he wants to have a little bit of fun. You can't really have a little bit of fun if the bike is in dealer mode and you can't break it loose a little bit. But anyways, I would totally own an FTR. I think they're awesome. It's a perfect blend of superbike and scrambler, which I like all of them. I like all motorcycles. They're all awesome. But this leads me to what I'm doing this weekend. I know I've been talking for damn near 10 minutes or whatever. So, me, for the style and type of riding that I really enjoy, is long distance cruising. Long distance cruising, as well as short, hops, hitting the twisties and doing all the fun stuff. But I own a cruiser. I own a touring bagger, lowers and all. And I really only go on one, maybe two long haul trips a year. The rest of my riding is short little day trips. So, and I've had Harley since I was 18. I bought my first one when I was 18. My dad's had Harleys. My uncles have had Harleys. I've been around Harleys my whole life. But I have consistently said that I like all motorcycles. Another type of motorcycle that I really like and really enjoy the aesthetic of are cafe racers. I've ridden them. They're fun as hell. If you don't know, cafe racers are a European chopper, basically. They take a European bike, and some, more recently you can see evidence of them chopping up Harleys and doing it to it. But the primary idea is to remove as much shit off the bike as you can and have a nice, aggressive riding style. And you rip it up. It's like a chopped superbike. That's what a cafe racer is. It's like a superbike chopper, what I think would be a very good way of putting it. But yeah, you have the the clip-on handlebars down here. You're kind of laying on the tank a little bit. Not as bad as like an R1 or an R6, but you know what I mean. You're in a very aggressive riding position. Your feet are back here, and they're just a lot of fun. I'm really hoping everyone knows what a cafe racer is, because I don't really feel like I'm doing a good job of explaining it. But either way, I want to build a cafe racer. And so, back to the very beginning part of this, I'm on YouTube and I see these two brothers building these awesome Triumph Bonnevilles and Triumph Bobbers into like one-of-a-kind cafe racers for their clients. And this was like a couple of weeks ago. I'm watching this and I'm starting to sit there and think, I think it would be awesome to build a cafe racer, just to be a little different, just to do something different. I've had Harley since I was 18, so I think it would just be really fun to do something else for a little bit. Keep this, of course, but build a cafe racer. So tomorrow I am picking up a 1973 Triumph Bonneville T140. It's a 750cc European bike, and it's in really good shape paint-wise. It needs a lot of cleaning. It's been sitting in a barn for 20 years, but it's my dad's bike. And so I'm sitting there watching these guys build these awesome Triumphs, and I'm like, my dad's got two of them. And they're just sitting there. I wonder if he would be okay if I took a angle grinder to his 70s classic European motorcycle that he loves and, chop it up a little bit. So I called him up, said, hey, is it all right if I take some power tools to one of the bikes that you've owned the longest and mutilate it for fun's sake? And surprisingly enough, he was like, absolutely, sure, go ahead, it's just sitting there. So tomorrow I'm gonna head over to his one of his houses and pick up this 1973 Triumph on a trailer, get it back to my garage and start cleaning it up. So I'm not really going to do a build series, but I will film for the channel some of the steps to build this thing out, because I mean, it's going to be a slow process. So the episodes would probably be a month in between episode 1 of the Triumph build, and then episode 2 comes out, you know, a month and a half, 2 months later. It doesn't seem very fun, but every once in a while on the channel I will upload a progress video on the Triumph, on how it's going. I'm doing it on a budget because I do not get paid millions of dollars from YouTube, if you can't tell. But also, the wife and I are planning a big move in the next couple of years, so we're trying to, you know, do our best to do our due diligence to ensure that we can actually financially do the move. So, yeah, I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be a lot of fun tearing the old Bonnie down and building it into a cafe racer. The cool part to me about cafe racers is how damn cheap parts are. You can pick up an entire front end for $500, you know, if you want it. You could also spend as much as $3,000 on a front end. Like for fans of that styling of motorcycle, just look no further than the Triumph Thruxton, the Thruxton RS. I mean, I think the front end on that thing's like $2,400 or something like that, and that's a factory bike, so much less aftermarket. But yeah, so I'm excited to start on this Triumph build. To me, Triumphs are very near and dear to me. Again, my dad has had them basically my entire life. They're a lot of fun. I learned how to ride on this Triumph Bonneville that I'm picking up tomorrow. So it's going to be good. It's going to be a good time. To me, this is my Harley alternative. European cafe racers bebopping around. And, you know, there's always options to set them up for some quasi-touring demonstration. Blam! Right here. To me, that looks the coolest. It's got the best aesthetic. Tank bag, tail bag, backpack. I just love it. I love everything about it. They're very aggressive, very Mad Max. So that's going to be the idea. Turn my dad's Triumph chopper into a cafe racer. So tune in if you want to see some of that. Yeah, leave a like, leave a comment about if Harley ceased to exist, what motorcycle would you own to be your daily rider? I think that would be a fun conversation in the comment section. Yeah, leave a comment. I'm genuinely, again, curious to know what your guys' Harley alternatives are. And no matter what it is, you know, I've always said I like all motorcycles. I think they're all great. If it's got 2 wheels, I'm a fan. So don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate you watching. I will see you when I see you.